stock market today analysis for Aloha Friday, February 24th, 2023. I'd like to invite you to look for the link to iofsuccess.com in the description below this video, which will bring you to this fantastic website that you can read right here that I truly believe that you should be selling cash secured put options on stocks you'd be happy to own. You can read through all this and you can see that there's some free stuff to help you with that, and there's some paid stuff to help you with that. If you have any questions about the paid stuff or the free stuff, feel free to contact me right here. If you leave a comment in the YouTube video, I probably will respond, but the easiest place to guarantee some response would be right here in the contact us. And right now, there's going to be a link popping up right here. Get ready for it. 1 minute. Boom! Popped up at the 1 minute mark. It's easy for you to remember 1 minute. So when this video is done, you can go back and watch that video that's linked at the 1 minute mark, which is 5, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 reasons why you should be selling cash secured put options on stocks that you'd be happy to own. Because when you know the reasons why, figuring out these how-tos becomes a lot easier. We see this general look at the markets right now with 1 month of data, each candle representing 1 day. Bitcoin, the Bitcoin futures for Bitcoin was trading kind of in this range. It broke out of this range, was kind of had this 23,000 to 24,000 range in there. It broke out of that, tested the 25 range, but now it's back down here testing the 23,000 range. We'll see how next week plays out. Your good buddy Brent lives in a state where I'm not free enough to trade this, so I just kind of watch it instead of trading it. Crude oil still staying between 82 and 72. The gold futures contract continues to go down. That possibly could have something to do with the dollar going up. There could be some other things it has to do with also. This is just one of them, but there's definitely some other things that could happen in the futures market to push prices down of this contract. TLT, overall, the last month, it went sideways a little bit, but then it really, for most of the month, went down. Pivoted right here. 2 days later, pivoting again, back down to this area. Seems like it's catching a little bit of support around the 100. And sort of what's been happening for a while. I don't know exactly how long a while is, but seems to be somewhat correlated. Whatever direction TLT is going, the stock market ends up kind of following it. And it would seem to sort of still be working. I wouldn't put it in stone. I wouldn't bet your farm on it. And then the VIX, we see the VIX overall over the last month. It went sideways for the most. In the last couple days, it's been rising up. So it pulled back a little bit here and then pushed all the way up here. Now this VIX, volatility index, is derived from option transactions on the SPX. The XPX, for the last 2 trading days, we see this long wick to the bottom, which can indicate a potential reversal, especially when it's matched up with some support. We see that a similar long, really long wick here for Thursday. Friday, kind of. Definitely it's longer. It's not as long as this, but it's longer than that. And then on the NASDAQ, got a doji today. On Thursday, we got that long wick with that hammer type of candle. And same thing with the Russell 2000. We got those longer wicks. Let's take a look at, this is a 1 year on the daily chart. We see the SPX. So here's our 2 candles with those long wicks. Now this red line is a 200-day moving average. Now you notice it's coming down here, touching the 200-day moving average and pulling up, which you saw that right there. I wasn't even paying attention to it. So moving averages can act as support and resistance, but just keep in mind they're not support and resistance. If that seems confusing, think about think about this. If you adopted a child, you can act as their parent, but technically you're not their biological parent. But you can definitely raise a kid, and you can, for all intensive purposes, you could parent this person, right? So moving averages like that also. It's not a guarantee that they're going to be support and resistance, but they can. What is a guarantee? Looking to the left, definitely in here, right? We see all these prices kind of getting clumpy right in here. Got a pivot right in here, a little lower, or a little lower than that through this range. We go more to the left, we see prices overlapping in this range, which is basically the 4,000 to 3,900 area. And looking to the left, we see it happen again. So right in here, prices drop down. They broke that 4,000 area, pivoted around that 3,900. Right here, the 3,900 is acting as resistance. Right here, 3,900 acting as support. Right, pivot right there. And you see it's acting as resistance here, acting as resistance here, and seems like a little bit higher than the 4,000 for this, and a little lower than the 3,900. So possibly. Now let's look at, just really quickly, let's look at a weekly chart. How's that looking? Right, this red line here is now on a 40 period moving average, which should simulate pretty close to the 200-day. That's why it's touching right there. Now what do we see? These candles going on with the 200-day moving average. Let me just look to the left real quick. See right here, yeah, it's a little bit lower. But this right here, my fine friends, that's I get it. It's getting a little bit of support here, but on the weekly, it looks like maybe right in here. I get it. There's a little bit here. Yeah, you know, yeah, it's really around the 390. So we'll see if prices break down lower. But this right here is looking to me bearish. Now let's take a look at the Dow Jones. Ooh, you see that, right? Oh yeah, I probably did. I see some right in there. Yep, some what do you call that? Support happening again right in here through this area. Oh, look at that. It was a little bit higher that time. And 200-day moving average is a little bit lower down here. Looks like we got kind of this M formation going on. And let's look at that weekly. Woo, doggies. Look at that. Oh my good Lord. Yeah, that looks bearish, doesn't it? It just looks like it's getting ready to drop. Possibly, I mean, and that's a long down candle, right? That is a wide range candle there. And then how about the NASDAQ? On the daily, hitting that 200-day moving average, and right in here, right? Not surprising. Oh, look at that. Did it before right in here. So maybe let's look at the weekly. Same thing. Lots of movement down. That's what's so beautiful about the weekly candle. I mean, it to me, the weekly chart really just really clears up a lot of stuff for me, at least in my opinion. We had this W formation here, and it's just not breaking out past this little part right there. Russell 2000. Yep, hitting right in there, right? So we'll see if it starts. We'll see what it's going to do through here, but definitely I see how it can get caught in that in this area. You really see it tight in there. Same thing. You got this W pattern here, and it was strong, right? See how this right end is really lower than this. Maybe it would have been a good trade to go long. If you're day trading, go long on that candle. But 1, 2, basically 2 days, definitely 3 days. Boom, it's back down, back in here. So let's look at quickly, kind of go through take a quick look at the 12 sectors, see if anything's standing out. Over here in the XLK, the technology sector, Dogeing here, but slowing down, probably around that 135. I think in the past this has kind of been an area of support there. Healthcare continues to break down, and XLF had a up day, which is the financials. So we got up, down, and kind of sideways for these three sectors. Industrial sector had a bit of an up day too, but still it's trading. Even this is closing in the bottom 10% of this big drop down. Yep, so that's relative to that big drop. Everything's still looking bearish over here until we see this. There's some bullishness right there, right? So we had this drop down. 1 day, 2 days. On the third day, prices gap down here, and boom, look at that. Now closed over this big drop. So in 3 trading days in the basic materials sector, made back that lost gain. So this is the first, I would say, that's the first indication of possible reversal. Looks like it could be going forward. Maybe to confirm this, you look at a longer chart, look at a year, maybe look at the weekly. Looking at a 1 month daily chart, it just kind of gives you an idea of what's happening in a very short-term basis. So we want to look at it a little more. And then we got our communication, which is a kind of an overlap in here, and drop down below this 200-day moving average. Energy over the last month is really just went down, and that's kind of a bullish sign right there. Definitely not as powerful as this, but it's a good kind of move to the upside. However, look at this, still in like the bottom, didn't even make it to the 50% mark of this drop. So and it's 1, 2, 3, 4 days later. Let's see what happens next week. Maybe it'll remake that, or maybe it's gonna go lower. Consumer discretionary dropping down for like the last week, and up on the month, but looks like it's making a M, right? It's like this. So generally, like your M, just like your W, you would you want to see this. It's going to be the reverse of the W, right? You'd want to see your left hand higher than your right hand, and then when it breaks this little part right here, which would be that candle right there, you could potentially go short. That's a lot more of a trading strategy than what I normally do. I'm an option seller. Sometimes I'll do some directional trades, but if you really look at what I've been doing the last, I have no idea how many years it is, but it's mainly been selling options for the most part. And what is this? The consumer staples, really just kind of moving sideways, right? Up and down, chopping around sideways. Under this 200-day, downward sloping 200-day moving average, though. And utilities, well, I would like that more if it was red, but it is green, and so that's life. But it's kind of definitely it gapped down here to 66 and just closed like right where it closed today, basically where it closed yesterday. So pretty much moving sideways. And real estate continuing to move down, retail continuing to move down. Look at that. Here's your top part of the M, drops down, moves up again. Here's your another part, then really just kind of broke right here. So if you were day trading, maybe you could, I guess you could go short this whole time, but once you see it break this, it's really a pretty good indication. Price is going down. So what does that leave us with, my friends? What is that? What's this stuff telling us? Well, as I started this week with, ending last week, we're looking to see what's going to happen between the 420 to 440 area. And we see what's happening right now. A whole lot of nothing. Nothing's happening. What's happening is price action is moving away from the 420. And you can see right here, you can see here, we're reaching where it pivoted here before, which is a bit lower than the 400 area. Pivoted here, dropped down a bit lower. Pivoted here, dropped down a bit lower. So really between in this 390-ish area, it could pivot and start moving up again. It doesn't seem, I'm not noticing anything that seems super strong that would do that, but a lot of the stuff is right around the 200-day moving average, so maybe things will start pivoting up. We'll see what happens next week for how long it's going to go to the downside, and if it but technically it could go all the way down to 380. Like between, I'm seeing a trading range of, let's say 380 to 420. Definitely seems like a trading range, and possibly all the way down to 360. And what would that be up until? I don't know. Like from 420 to 440. I'm more interested in seeing how it moves through there. If it moves through it really with not much energy or with a lot of energy, would kind of make a difference in my opinion. But yeah, it didn't make it to 420. It seemed like it had a lot of momentum that it was going up to, and how far it pulled back this week. But looking at this line chart, it's not looking too promising. Seems like it broke our little uptrend at the moment. So, best advice: set yourself up in a position that no matter if the stock market goes up, down, or sideways, you're making money. You guys have a fantastic weekend, and I'll be giving you another video this Sunday. Aloha.